When China let its currency fall to dramatically low levels on Monday, past 7 yuan to the dollar, it made a lot of noise.
China has now weaponized its currency.
This is really surprising.
But all this going on, I just think it is bad news.
The Trump administration quickly labeled the country a currency manipulator, as a weaker yuan would help counteract the effect of U.S. tariffs by making Chinese exports to America cheaper.
Huge loss on Wall Street today. The Dow
Stock markets also went tumbling, even battering tech giants like Apple, Facebook, and Alphabet. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell by 2.9%, the biggest one-day percentage drop of the year. First of all, Beijing tightly oversees its financial system and has a lot of say over how much the yuan is worth. China closely monitors its currency, so the yuan had not traded below 7 to the dollar in more than a decade. It's also the weakest level that the offshore rate has ever seen, and one that the Chinese government has always intervened to stop the currency from going beyond. But the yuan has remained reasonably stable since President Trump came into office. That was seen as a gesture of goodwill and a way to build up the yuan in international currency markets. But the lagging trade talks have upended that. The Trump administration imposed 25% tariffs on $250 billion worth of Chinese goods. And after the latest round of trade talks in Shanghai that ended in very little progress, Trump threatened another 10% on $300 billion of products.
Chinese imports from the US are just a lot smaller than that. China has a big trade surplus with the US, so they can't cause the same level of pain for the US economy that the US administration can cause on China. So that's why they resort to things like weakening the yuan, because it's a weapon that they can use to put some pressure on Washington.
This retaliatory step from China does not bode well for future negotiations.
So the White House is extremely sensitive to any weakness in the yuan. It's very averse to other countries, in his perception, devaluing their currency to boost themselves in trade. And this is why it's going to have such a bad impact on the current trade talks.
A weaker yuan could mean trouble at home. In China, this could also mean companies have a harder time paying off larger outstanding dollar debts and trigger businesses and individuals to move money abroad. We saw this happen in 2015 when the yuan weakened, although Beijing has since tightened up its controls. But a weaker renminbi goes far beyond China's borders.
So there's a lot of East Asian economies like Japan and Korea that are really closely plugged into the Chinese economy now. Manufacturers in different countries working very closely together. So the knock-on impact when something bad happens in China, like the weakness in their yuan, is felt very quickly.
China's weaker yuan signals the opening of a new front in the trade dispute with the US. And though it could buy Beijing some time, it could have ripple effects in the global economy for some time.